Now, let us understand the concept of CSS. What is this CSS in HTML? The abbreviation for this is Cascading Style Sheet. Basically, so far, whatever you have learned in our HTML, it's purely about the tags, it's purely about the formatting of the text onto the browser. You will be making the HTML page only for the visibility purpose. You have seen so many tags like creation of the table, you have seen listing out the or pointing out with the pointers, we are listing out so many things. You have seen so many other tags like formatting tags are there. Then we have seen the frames and the forms, how to create a form by using the HTML, by using so many fields, text fields, buttons, labels, and so on. So everything majorly we are creating the web page there, but we are not giving the texture or the look that is needed for the web page. So that will be given with the help of the CSS styling, in the sense that will add an additional concept of give a good look or a glance to the user, okay, when they are visiting the web page. That will be an added feature by your CSS, which will be with the help of the colors, background effects, font colors and all. Okay, that we are going to apply by using the cascading style sheets. So it is also a language we use to style an HTML document. CSS describes how HTML elements are to be displayed on the screen, paper, or on any other media. We are purely using CSS only for adding an additional feature of styling or moderation, we can say. Okay, how can we, for the available HTML document, what all modifications that will add an additional feature of the colors concept, that we are doing with the CSS. So it's going to save lots of work. Okay, it can control the layout of multiple web pages all at once. Yes, this is one of the biggest advantage of CSS. Suppose you might be asking me a question, why not we do certain colorings even in the normal HTML page? Surely we can do so. But for individual page, you will be doing it individually. For individual paragraph, you should do it individually. For individually tag or the heading, you will be doing individually. It's a time consuming process when you are doing it individually onto the normal HTML document. But with the use of the CSS, what happens here is all at once for all the web pages, you can make certain stylings together. That is one of the biggest advantage, and it's going to save lots and lots of your time and work also. External style sheets are stored in CSS files. Yes, if at all you're making certain CSS files which are external to it, so we are going to save them external to it with an extension called as .css. So why we use CSS again? I think it's clear for you now. It's going to define the styles to your web page, including the design, layout, variation, and display on different devices and on different screen sizes. Okay, it's basically purely meant for the layout and the design and application of it. So one simple example of it is, suppose you want to add a background color to your web page. Okay, so that we are going to add it to the body content of the HTML page, and color also we have given certain color we mentioned. So how does it work is, this is our selection. We selected this part of HTML. We are going to add the feature of background color to it. Okay, so this is applicable only with your CSS. Next, for the H1 tag, we want to add the color as white and the text alignment to be centered. It's not only for a single H1. It's for all the H1 tags that we are going to use in our web page, not only in one. Whatever the different web pages you are creating, all of them you can assemble and do it and design it at once. That is the biggest advantage of it. And here you can see another example for the paragraph tag, P tag. We are adding the feature of font family and even the font size. So this is how we create. These are simple examples I can say you. Okay. If we don't require them, so what I can say here is these are the examples for your CSS. Okay. Now coming back. So as you got to know so far, CSS have solved your major problems, and one of the biggest problem is saving of your time and saving lots and lots of your work. So HTML can never intend to do so upon each and every tag. It's a very time consuming process for the HTML. Therefore, the content of the HTML only will be displayed onto the web page. The basic idea of the HTML is to display the content of it onto the web page. For example, you want to display these two tags onto it. So what happens? HTML will be displaying it by using the header tag and the paragraph tag. Its job is done, it will only display. But if at all you want to add additional feature to this H1 and P, it will be done with your CSS. CSS will be helping us to do this for adding additional features like colors of it or font styling, font sizes, and various other alignment of the text and all. So those are the additional features which can be done with the help of your CSS. Okay. Next. So where is this largely used? It will be used majorly in the development of the large websites where the fonts and the color information were added to every single page. So it will be majorly useful in the large websites, okay? And it's going to be very long and expensive process if you're going to use only simple HTML pages. Now, what happens to solve this problem? www created the CSS. So it is one of the biggest advantage for us. The creation of the CSS is helping us and it's overcoming major tasks that will be overcome by your HTML, that is your CSS. So CSS removed the style formatting from the HTML page. Okay. Next. So how does this CSS is going to save lots of your work is the style definition that you're creating, it's normally saved into an external file with an extension called as .css. Okay. Whatever the style definition you're creating either to the H1 tag, P tag, or to the body of the HTML, any of the things, any of the tags. So that definition we are creating and storing separately with an extension called as .css as the file. So this external style sheet file, you can use it for the entire website as well. Create it once and use it for the whole and sole website that you are going to create. Okay, that is one of the biggest advantage. So this is a simple syntax for your CSS. H1, this is going to be my selector. And upon this H1, what all we want to add? For example, you want to add color upon it. Okay, so this is going to be my property and its value. Okay, so the CSS rule consists of two parts here. One is a selector, the other one is a declaration block. Selector is nothing but H1 or P tag or body or any of the image, even the image you want to make certain decorations and all to it. So that also you can do it by setting the borderings, coloring and also. So in the declaration part, you can add as many declarations as you want to give with a simple separator between them as semicolon. So for this H1 tag, you added a color of blue and as well as the font size, which is of 12 pixels and so on. It will be in between the color curly braces. Okay. So n number of declarations you can give for a single tag. Now, what is a selector? Selector points to the HTML element that you want to style. Just now I have told you it can be your H1, H2. For different headers you want to give differently, you can make use of the CSS for it. Paragraph tag, if not you want to apply it on the image tag. If not, you want to apply on the table, very importantly. Okay. Then table attributes we are having like table data, TT, table row, and so on. So whatever that tags you're having in your HTML, upon all this, you can apply your selectors. You can give the selectors from any of them. and apply the declarations. Declarations can be what? It can be in the form of the color, it can be in the form of the font, font family, font size. Okay, so that can be more than one declaration can be given with the help of the semicolons between them. Each declaration includes a CSS property name and its value. So whenever you are declaring, you see here, it's indicating property and value with it, followed by a semicolon in between. Multiple CSS declarations can be separated by the semicolons, okay? And the declaration blocks can be stored in the curly braces. So this is how we create the CSS. Another example is given to you. Here, what you see, the paragraph tag, P tag has been used, okay? And this is the HTML element to which we want to align it centered, and the color that we are adding it here is red. So you can see this is my selector and this is my declaration, okay? So more than one declaration, we are separating them by semicolons, and this is property of the declaration, its value. Okay, hope it is clear to you how we are giving the declarations to it. Now, what is the CSS selectors? CSS selectors are used to find or select the HTML elements that you want to style. It can be majorly categorized into 5 categories. One is a simple selector where the element can be selected simply by using based upon the name, ID or the class. Name I told you like your tags. Okay, it can be made even on the IDs. If at all you're setting any of the IDs while creation of your forms and the frames, that time you can make use of it, and the classes as well. Combinator selectors. So here we will be selecting the elements based upon a specific relationship between them. For example, we are using the P tag. It's not, we are using the image tag. Okay, for the image, I want to apply certain other features like filtrations and all that we will be able to apply it by using the combinator selectors. Pseudo class selectors where it will be used upon certain states that we will be seeing in the coming slides. Pseudo elements, this will also be seen in the coming slides, and even on the execution of the HTML code also we have seen how it will be applicable. Selecting and styling the parts of the elements that is being termed as your pseudo elements. Attribute selectors, yes, this is also majorly used because we will be applying the styles upon the attributes of any of the tags. Okay, attribute in the sense, for the image tag we have the attribute as width and height, we have the attribute as source, we have the attribute as alt. Okay, upon them also we can apply the selectors. Now, element selector. This is commonly and majorly used. You have seen up till now 3 to 4 times the representation of it. Hope you have got the clarity for using the selector as an element. Okay. Next, ID selector. How can we do this? ID selector is, you see, ID attribute it can be used applied onto. Okay. For example, any of the element you are picking. I'll tell you image tag. Image is my tag, okay, where I'm giving certain source to it in my, okay, then followed by alternate image of it, followed by the width, some dimensions we are giving here, followed by the height. So what are these src, alt, width and height? These are nothing but the attributes, okay, attributes. So these attributes, we can create the individual IDs for them for specifying them individually. So this ID of an element is unique within the page. So the ID as a selector, it can be used and select uniquely as an element. Okay, once you may mention them separately and individually, you can uniquely use them. For selecting an element with a specific ID, we will be writing a hashtag before it. For example, here, if at all you're using para as my ID, okay. For example, I'm using this para as my ID for the P tag. Okay. Inside my paragraph tag, we are using para as my ID. Name of the paragraph or name of the ID, we have used it as para 1. If at all you're using IDs, so that time we need to prefix it with a hash symbol, okay, or hash character followed by the ID element. So this is the rule that you need to follow. An ID name cannot start with a number. You should remember even this point. It cannot start with a number. It should be purely with a text or a character and followed by prefixed by a hash symbol. That is a representation for the ID selector. Now, coming to the class selector. So what happens here? We are giving certain specific class attributes that will be considering dot character with it, or we also denote it with a dot or a period, right? So for example, you want to align the text into the centered format, okay? So where the color will be given, alignment will be given. For specifically center, whenever you're writing any of the heading tags or any other font, specifically for centered one, you are going to align it in the form of center alignment and even give the text in the red in color. So this is an example for the P tag. So in this P element, we are applying the paragraph to be centered. Okay, the alignment of this paragraph, we are making it as centered, and we want to add the color of this text to be red in color. So what are we doing? Combinedly to this paragraph and the center, we are making the usage of the dot or the character. Okay, dot is being used here for making the difference between the tag and as well as the class selector. So here the combination of the, you can see here, this is my selector and this is my class selector, right? So when we are combining them together, we are using the dot or the period character there. And then specifically we are adding its own features or the styles there.